What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, not a day after, a day after, Lil Destin decides to pop off at the mouth, 42%, blah, blah, blah. Minus, blah, blah, blah. Why Xbox making console, blah, blah, blah. They shouldn't even make next generation. Guess what happens? Nintendo's numbers came out. Minus 41%. Sony's numbers come out, PlayStation. Minus 37%. Now what? You're going to say the same thing? Oh, PlayStation shouldn't make a next console because at this point in time, they went down so far, nobody's interested in buying them because they're down 37%. You know, it happens every time. It happened last time when they announced the minus numbers, and Sony was like a couple of points behind. Say, I don't think it was console sales. I think it was something else like profit or I can't remember what it was, but same thing. The whole industry is down, and why they're only laser focused on Xbox. I think what's happening, a lot of what's happening is that everyone sees the behemoth that Microsoft is. And remember when Z said, be the behemoth that you are? Just spam. Get the spam out of here. Remember when everybody said, oh no, Z said, be the behemoth that you are, referring to Microsoft. You know, you got all this money, you know, be that, da, da, da. They're doing that. They done did that. Now, everybody's scared. Everybody's like, no, we don't want the behemoth. Put them back because we want PlayStation to win. That's what's happening. Everybody wants PlayStation to win. Why? You look at the behavior of PlayStation, this generation. Why do they deserve to win? Explain that to me. Explain it to me in terms that are English, because I'm like looking at their lineup, right? I'm looking at the games they put out, right? Ratchet and Clank, sure, they get that one. Returnal, honestly, that's a PlayStation 4 game, but you know what? We're going to give you that one too. What else? What else? Everything else is remakes, remasters. Oh yeah, God of War Ragnarok, which was DLC that they stretched it. Dude, PlayStation has been running on fumes and leftovers this whole generation, and y'all, ponies and donkey unicorns, are just eating it up, just bending over, spreading wide. Give it to me, daddy. That's what's happening over there. No Diddy, and I mean it's Diddy for them, but no Diddy for. Anyway, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm looking. Okay, you know, Xbox, what they got? They got more studios than PlayStation. They're putting out more games than PlayStation, more new IPs than PlayStation, first party. And the games that they are going back to, they're revital. Go back, go watch, go look at footage. You don't even have to play it. Go look at footage from the original Perfect Dark, N64. You know, it's on Xbox now. Go look at that game. I played through it, and I played through Perfect Dark Zero. Those games are like this. I've never liked the James Bond game, GoldenEye and all. I was like, sure. I wasn't on the N64 like that. Back then I was still a Sega boy, right? I was still Saturn, Dreamcast, all that stuff. But go back and look at those games. Now you put that right, and then you put the new Perfect Dark right here. Dude, come on. Perfect Dark looks 1,000 million times better than the predecessors. And if it wasn't called Perfect Dark, if it was called Xbox Spy Girl, I don't know what you do. Woman Spy X, whatever. I'm good at naming names. I would still want to play because I'm like, oh, that's kind of like parkour and a spy and you got gadgets. It's kind of cyberpunky, but not really. But just feeling it's like Middle Eastern, but Dubai. Is it in Dubai? I don't even know where it's at. Cairo? I think it's Cairo. I was like, okay. And that's when you know that Xbox is doing good. Like Hellblade 2 came out, right? Everybody's like, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at Hellblade 2. I'm like, first, this game is way better than the first game. Okay, even though the whole, this is the first of its type game, this is a narrative about, mental illness and blah, 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 right? Even though that's already, everybody knows that, boop, boop, they're using the same kind of, mechanics and stuff. I haven't even finished it. I stopped at one point, and I'm pretty close to the end. But so far, I'm playing it. I'm like, this is a better game than the first game, and it looks way better. And yes, it's more of a walking simulator, but it's, if you look at the first game and you look at the second game, and the second game is leagues better, then I'm like, okay, this is what Xbox needs to do. You have a game, whatever, you come to the next game is, miles better. That's where I'm like, okay, Perfect Dark, the way it's looking, just do more of that, give me more levels of variety, blah, 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 make sure the story's pretty good. I'm down, let's go. If they do a new Banjo-Kazooie, you know what? I wasn't a fan of the original artwork of Banjo. I mean, N64 game, what are you gonna do? But they do it right. They make it look good. They do some ray tracing. Maybe they should make it a next gen console exclusive console. You know what I'm saying? Do the ray tracing, make it look like a Pixar movie or something. Actually give Banjo and Kazooie some speaking lines instead of all that the mumble jumbles. Then, and you get some good writers on that. That's what's up. And one thing I've noticed that people aren't really saying anything about. If you look at the advertisements that Xbox is doing, the trailers they're doing for certain games, they are way better. They're way better than anything Sony's doing right now. I'll give them a half a prop for the God of War leading up to I think it was God of War Ragnarok, where they had Ben Stiller and all these fathers and their sons, and they were like in a counseling meeting or something. That was all right. That was pretty cool. But that was more about star power more than just the whole father side. I mean, they did a good job, I ain't gonna lie. But you look at the Outer Worlds 2, that first trailer they put out. That is like, you know what? They have zero gameplay, anything, but they're actually making fun of it. They're breaking the fourth wall. It's great. After seeing Deadpool and Logan, I'm like, break the fifth, sixth, break all the walls, because we need a little levity in certain things, especially video games. Come on, it can't be all serious. So that was dope, right? And then Fable, once again, kind of broke the fourth wall, maybe 3.5 walls. I don't know, it's weird because they're talking to the camera, to us. So it is breaking the fourth wall, but it's still in the context of, oh, you want another hero? Like if we were in that world and we went to visit Humphrey and he's talking to us, oh, let me tell you about this girl I knew, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, let's go. And I'm like, those two alone have given me confidence in Xbox's games, the games that are coming out. Fable, Outer Worlds 2, Perfect Dark, even though that wasn't funny or anything. It wasn't like a comedy trailer, but they showed the gameplay, they showed the parkour, they showed gameplay elements. I'm looking at that, I'm like, I guess I want to play that. They had the smoke, you shoot the tank and the smoke happens, and they shoot the dudes through the smoke. They can't see you, but you can see. I'm like, man, look, they showed so many little mechanics that people aren't, I'm sorry, show me a PlayStation ad. Like besides the God of War one, when was the last ad that was like, yo, that game, I want to play it? I don't know. You can't say Last of Us because that's tired. What are you gonna do? What's a new game that's coming out for PlayStation? Astrobot? No, I don't think. Honestly, Astrobot may be good, but I don't think it's not that type of game. It's not a AAA game. It's a AA at best. Triple B maybe. So you can't rely on Astrobot and Lego of the Hose, as Sean says. And Lego of the Hose may do okay. Lego Horizon. But that's not it either. I'm looking at that game like, okay, Lego. And how much is Lego getting? Is Lego getting that Marvel cut? You know what I'm saying? Like, if Lego's getting the Marvel treatment, Sony's not making any money. This is the dry, man, it's so dry. It's Serengeti up in here for PlayStation. And with the 37% console sales down. And with, are they still counting the PlayStation portals as consoles? Or was that a separate console? Or was it combined with the... See, that's the thing I don't understand. If they're combining... I don't think they are. But, you know, I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume that they are combining PlayStation Portal console sales with their overall console sales. Huh? That's how you get 60 million? Is that the 10 million that they can't turn on? They can't register those because it's just a streaming device and you don't register streaming? I mean, I don't know if that's true. I don't, you know. I don't think it is because you don't register your phone on PSN, do you? You just play. Or I guess you do have to log in. But then does it register the device? I don't know. So I don't actually care because I'm not streaming nothing. Although I did test some streaming before and it was perfect on Xbox. I was like, yo, if you got good internet, I think all these fools testing it, they're like, they got the crappy internet and they're like crying about. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Tangent. So they're 37% down. Nintendo's 41% down. Xbox is 42% down. If you put it in the right context, sure, Xbox is still behind as far as total console sales. But once again, if you wanna play numbers and ratios, 500 million MAUs versus 100 and something million, 100 and change that PlayStation has. Come on, there's no competition. There's no. It's not even close. And that was from the Activision Blizzard deal. Because the Blizzard King part of it, people aren't talking about it, but there's a lot of people who play King games on phone. Guess who owns that now? Microsoft. Guess where those numbers came from? That's where they came from. Everybody's playing Candy Crush, however many, 200, 300 million of them. Let's throw that on the pile. Let's go. It's not like, oh, we're going to ignore it because it's not a console. Once again, Xbox is changing the game. Y'all saw Hamilton and wait for it, that song that, what's his name, Odom sings? Leslie Jr. Odom Jr. Anyway, that song encapsulates what's happening this generation. Hamilton changed the game. Xbox is changing the game. They changed it first. Well, first Phil Spencer changed. First Phil Spencer like, yo, we got to put some antiseptic on this, put some Band-Aids on this, sew it up, iron it out, fix it up. And his first acquisition was one of the best acquisitions. He bought Minecraft. People were like, 2.64 billion. What are you, crazy? That's crazy for a little goopy doopy, bleep bloppity blocky game. What are you, crazy? That game is the most sellingest game. I know somebody in my comments said, oh no, Tetris is the most sellingest game. I'm like, man, get Tetris. Let's go back further. Why don't, oh no, not Checkers is the most, no. Cards is the most sellingest game. All those decks of cards that have been sold that sells more. Shut up. You know what I'm talking about. Shoot, I'm gonna go back to Tetris. Get out of here with that. I don't even know if that's true. It might be, I don't even know how many. But look, as far as modern games, like that happened in the 2000s, Minecraft. Thank you. This century, Minecraft. Anyway, Phil Spencer jumped it off with Minecraft, and he's like, I'm buying Minecraft. Satya's like, you sure about that? He's like, trust me, dog. Boom. 20 years later, 10 years later, he's like, yo, Satya, see? He's like, yeah, you were right. I told you. So you're going to give me that 70, right? You're going to give me that bag, that 70 billion, right? You're going to buy 80 billion. 70 billion? Listen, I turned 2.4 billion into a lot more. You going to trust me? Fine, Philip. Gives him the money. Boom! 500 million mouse. Excuse me. 500 million mouse overnight. Boy, Phil may play the nice guy. he got something going on up there. He knows what's up. And it helps that he was a coder. He helps that he's a gamer. He helps that he's smart. And it helps that he is like those things I mentioned, because it grounds him in reality as opposed to just being an investor or just being a businessman whose only worry or concern is to make money for the company. When you're that person, Jim Ryan, then you come off as not in touch with your audience. You come off as, oh yeah, I'm just going to say what they want to hear and do whatever the hell I want. And that's exactly what Jim Ryan did. He tried to do some stuff, but he didn't have the experience because he's the money man. He's just making money however he can. It doesn't matter how the company looks. It doesn't matter what the customers say. It doesn't matter how they treat the customers, as long as they're making money. That was the bottom line. It is the bottom line for all these companies, but to him, it didn't matter as long as the shareholders don't bite his head off. He don't care about the little piddly customers. He don't care about them because they're all sheeple anyway. They're going to buy a PlayStation because that's the brand. But I think this generation is hurting PlayStation. They may not admit it. The Ponies and the Donkey Unicorns are in denial. They're going to be in denial for years. But 37% down. If PlayStation was the brand that it is, or the brand that people say it is, I don't think it would have lost that many percentages. Maybe I would say maybe half of what Microsoft lost. Because look, if people aren't buying Xboxes, it's because, oh, why aren't they buying Xbox? Because nobody wants an Xbox, right? Why aren't people buying PlayStations? Because nobody wants a PlayStation? Is it not the same reason? Why aren't people buying Nintendo Switches? Because nobody wants an old Switch. They announced that they're bringing out a new Switch. So people aren't going to buy it. So there's reasons, but nobody's telling me the reason why aren't people buying PlayStation 5s. It's because there's a rumor PlayStation 5 Pro, but Sony's not saying nothing. PlayStation's not saying nothing. So people are just waiting because they assume that it's actually coming out. And it's kind of the same with Xbox too, because you know the whole thing about, oh, next generation is going to be 2026. They're going to have a handheld. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe some people are waiting for that discless white X, which is kind of sexy. I ain't gonna lie. I got mine on a deal, so it's all good. But I wish I would have. That white one's kind of nice. I haven't put a disc in my Xbox yet, although I like the fact that I can. And I bought Akira on Blu-ray. Because I was like, because I bought it bought it twice. But I bought it before, and I was like, changing. And I was like, oh, man. And I played it. I was like, oh, this is the new soundtrack with the new voices. I didn't like that. I like the original voices because it was just ridiculous. It was like, Kaneda, Tetsuyo. I was like, oh, man, this is crazy. He kept screaming Kaneda's name for 1,000 million years. I'm like, damn it, stop saying it. It was funny. But I like I think Kaneda's the voice actor who did Kaneda, I think, was one of the Ninja Turtles, or he is a very popular voice actor. But I think he was on Voltron. I can't remember what he was on, but he was on one of those shows that you're like, oh yeah, that's that dude voice. I can't remember, but yeah, that's just nostalgia for me. Even though the voice acting is probably better in the new version, I still like the old stuff. It's just, you know, nostalgia, like I said. Anyway, video games. So the moral of the story is these Ponies and Donkey Unicorns are going to try to spin the narrative. Oh, 42%, blah, 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 la, 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 right? And then the next day, oh, 37%. What they got to say about that? They ain't saying nothing because they got nothing to say because they know that PlayStation is in a worse boat. Now, all they're going to do is compare quarterly earnings. Oh, quarterly percentage drops, blah, blah, blah. How about this? Why don't you look at how many games y'all are coming out with? Because ultimately, purchase decisions are made by the games. Now, you can hold on to all those old games, but guess what people like to play? New games. New games coming out. They like to be anticipated. They like to have that anticipation for new hotness. The next gen didn't start until Hellblade 2 dropped. I'm going to be real, because Ratchet & Clank, We all know can play on the PlayStation 4. They just didn't put it out there. Returnal was literally a PlayStation 4 game. It was like 1080p when it launched on PlayStation 5. Come on, son. All these games were PlayStation 4 games. All that is coming out. Now they have, oh, we got a PlayStation 5 Pro. Now it has real ray tracing and it has all this and all. I'm like, whatever. Y'all pulled the fast one on all your fans. They got stuck with a PlayStation 5 that's like, is a giant beast and it ain't as powerful as people think it is. And now you're going to come out with a more powerful machine. How big is that thing going to be? Think about it. It can be like the die shrink makes the PlayStation 5 smaller, but what they're doing, the overclocking that they're doing, what they have to do, the extra CUs and all that stuff, it's going to be bigger. This is literally the chip is literally bigger so that's more liquid cooling. If they're still going to do that, I don't know. If they're not going to do liquid cooling, then they got to come out with a greater cooling solution, which means it'll be even bigger than they need it to be. They might as well just put out the dev kit, call that the PlayStation 5 Pro, because that's how big it's going to be. You wonder why the dev kit was so big, right? You're like, why is I mean, the Xbox One is, I mean, it's big, but it ain't that big. It's like a big, I'm like, yo, why is it? Anyway. It's a repeating circus with these guys, you know, and they sit there and they pretend that, you know, Xbox is doom and gloom and PlayStation is all roses and butterflies and unicorns and rainbows, donkey unicorns. And, you know, it's not. And we see that now. And we're going to see it once these games start dropping. I mean, Hellblade 2 dropped. We got some more. We got Indiana Jones. We got so many games that they had to delay Avowed because they're like, they say, oh, we want people to get the backlog. I'm like, that's not why. You just say, it's kind of jam-packed. We don't want to step on our other people's toes and stuff like that. I mean, they said they said the politically correct version, not to diss on any particular studio or anything like that. You know, not to diss the Bethesda studio, Obsidian, because it's like, oh, we want to move it because, you know, why didn't you move this game? Why didn't you move that? Well, you know, so in order to be thoughtful for all their studios to say, no, we just want people to catch up on their backlog, which is true in a way because all these games are going to release and once they release, then they're part of the backlog, obviously, if you haven't finished them. So it's true in that sense. But regardless, I'm not feeling, oh man, Xbox, because they delayed one of 1,000 games that are coming out this year. I mean, it's not 1,000, but they got enough games coming out this year that Avowed to February 18th. Let's go. I'm good with that. I'm going to play it when it come out. That's all. That's it. It's like, it's going to be great. And so, I mean, Indiana Jones is going to be, and Towerfall, that's what it's called. I want to play that too. That's like the indie game that I'm going to play. I was like, oh yeah, that one looks good. There's a bunch of games. And I was thinking about, last thing, I was thinking about this the other day, Forza Horizon 6. Now, there hasn't been any announcement or anything, but I've been watching a bunch of Cool Kid from BX. He's a streamer. He's on YouTube. I watch it. He does a lot of BNG, BNN, whatever, the car game, but the physics. So I was watching him, and he does IRL stuff too. But I was thinking about racing games. And I was like, man, Forza Horizon is such a good racing game. And I was like, dude, if they did Japan, everybody's waiting for Japan. And I'm like, yo, I'm waiting for Japan's going to be dope. But I think that they should wait for next gen to do it Japan. So if they don't come out or announce a Forza Horizon for next year, it's going to be Japan. It's going to be a launch title for the next Xbox. That would be dope. That would be that. And I still want my Trailblazer. Give me a 2009 Trailblazer SS, please, in Forza Horizon. I'll be happy. That's all you have to do, Microsoft. Aaron Greenberg is not in charge of anything about games, but listen, Phil Spencer. I was going to say Larry Herr, but he quit. Retired. Look, I want a Trailblazer 2009 SS. You know, it's a little bit lower than the standard. It's got the 20s. It's nice. It's got the nice front bumper with chrome on the back. And come on, man. Let's make that happen. I'm sitting in the Trailer Bailey. I'm sitting in the Trailblazer, requesting a Trailblazer. Sorry, I know, I'm way off track. But anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging journalism, man. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the 37% doom and gloom. Oh no, it's going out of business or whatever. You know, it's just foolishness. But anyway, I mean, look, bottom line, let's enjoy the games that we get and let's play forever, man. That's all. That's it and that's all. Preach. And I'll catch you on the next one too. The wing.